Hey everyone, welcome back. Another Q&A, Life with Your Dog podcast. Today I'm going to be answering a question that came in from Darnelle. She's a client of mine and she listened to the episode to dog park or not to dog park and my general and me and Luke's conversation in what I reckon about dog parks and a few things to think about. And her question comes in saying how to socialize without using the dog park. And it's a pretty valid question. Now, if you listen to that episode back when we recorded about dog parks, it's not like I'm saying you should never go to the dog park, but the two things of why I think the dog park can be a bit of an issue is it's a place where your dog learns to ignore you. So while you're doing all of your training and you're working on recall and things like that, if you haven't got your command at a proofed stage that your dog will come back, a lot of the time we can teach our dogs when they're off the lead that they can run away from you and then they don't come back to you. So if you are going to be in the dog park, you shouldn't be calling your dog to come unless you're in a position to reward them. And if you keep calling 5-6 times in a row, you're weakening that command and teaching your dog that it can run up to other dogs and further have a better time than coming back to you. But also, more importantly, dog parks can be a place where your dog gets attacked, and so many people have had this experience. We've talked about this plenty of times on the show in regards to like a lot of the dogs that I see that have reactivity issues and aggression issues come from having a bad experience at the dog park where another dog has come and attacked them, or the dog has perceived that they've been attacked, so they've had a bad experience. And then that's where fear then starts to happen. Fear sets in, anxiety starts to occur, and if you haven't got a good foundation, then of course your dog starts to suffer and a lot of these issues start to occur. So how can we do this and what should we do? So if you're going to be spending time, and we've explained this as well in the episode of to dog park or not to dog park, is that when we're up in the park having long lead time, if you follow that 20-20-20 rule, and again, we had another episode talking about what does that mean and structured loose lead walking, check that out as well, that when we walk a loose lead structured walk to the park, we put our dogs on a long lead. They can pee, poo, play, sniff, have fun, do what they've got to do. But a lot of the times, and depending on where you live, then you're going to see other dogs around, and it may be appropriate that the dogs can have a bit of a play. As I said, if it's appropriate. See, a big part of our training and the way that I think about it is that 1/3 of socialization is learning how to be focused and calm around other dogs and being able to follow our command. The problem happens is when we think socialization is always about playing, we always want our dogs to approach other dogs and always say hello. And not every dog's approachable. A lot of dogs are aggressive, and a lot of the times it's not appropriate. You want to be able to teach your dog to be calm, so you can sit at the coffee shop while your dog's in a downstay or just hanging around politely and isn't running up to other dogs and dragging the coffee table halfway down the street and things like that. And it's happened before. So I think that's something to think about. But if you are going to be in the dog park there, in the park when your dog's on a long line, and just like today, I took my son to the playground and I had my dogs with me. They're in a downstay outside of the sandy area where the dog's not allowed, obviously. And there was a moment where a gentleman was coming past with his little spoodle, and it was a cute little thing. I released my dogs, I let them play, and they actually had a pretty fun time. And just an update on Nookie is that mentally she's not going good. If you're listening to our the episodes previous stating that my dogs did get attacked when a dog had jumped off the back of a ute and went for both my dogs, and Nookie had significant impact. She got impacted by that big time in that week happening after it, but now she's been really good. I've introduced her to heaps of reintroduced her to a lot of dogs and just monitoring it, and there's a little bit of hesitation with maybe a dog coming up to her fast, and I think she's always been a little bit like that because of her size and being knocked over a bunch of times, but everything's been really good. And she played with this little dog and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in ages. So there was an opportunity for my dogs to play there. And again, it was appropriate. I allowed it to happen. We've let 1,000 dogs walk past us, and sometimes 4 in a row we get to play, and sometimes there's a lot more of a gap. So I remember speaking with Darnelle, and she said that she had another trainer, and her trainer says 1 out of every 10 dogs you can let them say hello and approach each other on the street. I wouldn't put it to a 1 to 10 ratio. I think it should just be when it's appropriate, because then if you walk the Esplanade in Cronulla, and if anyone knows about Cronulla Esplanade, it's a very busy place. If you say hi to 1 every 10 dogs, you're stopping every 5 minutes and saying hi. I would rather my dog just ignore them. When we're on the walk, we are ignoring other dogs and we're focusing on the walk. And then if it's appropriate time, now I know with Harley, her dog, is like really good with other dogs, and I guess the reason why she's struggling a little bit to have that social experience, because she goes to the dog park and she's a bit hesitant because of, I guess, what I've said. And you can go there 5, 10, 50 times in a row and nothing bad happens. It could be an awesome place, but just know that there's a risk, right? So it's not like you shouldn't go, but like if you're going to go to a dog park or a dog leash-free beach and things like that, maybe going in a more quieter time, maybe like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or like the I don't know when I don't go to dog parks, so I don't know when, but I'm assuming before work and after work is the busiest times. So another thing that I've got written up here is join your local dog club. At this stage, it could be a little bit difficult with COVID, depending on where you live, but if you go to your local dog club and everyone's working on obedience training, then there's a few things that could happen. First of all, you're getting the extra training and you've got that access to a whole bunch of other dogs around you that are all on a similar mission. But also you can make friends, and then you can do play dates once a week. You can meet up and practice your training, and then reward the dogs with playtime after, and meet at somebody's house after the walk and let the dogs play. And then maybe even after training, there's a time where you can let the dogs hang out and have a social experience. So that's another option. Doggy daycare, a good reputable daycare, can be an awesome place. And I think if dog parks can be the best thing that they can be, I think that it should be refereed by somebody. There should be professionals there that understand dog behavior, and maybe not to the highest of levels, but just understand how dogs act in these situations. And if you can screen every dog that comes in, this is what a doggy daycare is, then once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, your dog goes to the daycare, has a good, fun social experience. You don't have to do a full day, maybe you can do a half day. And these are other options